Welcome to the Scene Weekly podcast, where we harken back to our college debate days and pick two movies of the same theme to mask up, speaking of words and insight, the fear of all hell's demons. This week's episode is focused on best slasher movies, with Friday the 13th, Part 2, taking on the juggernaut that is Halloween. Come join Jonathan and Steven for another week of hopefully less plot chatter and more film banter. We are Scene Weekly, and I'm sweating under this pillowcase. Can I take it off?
I prefer it on. It definitely makes the podcast better. It enhances
it. Yeah, visually. Yeah, it's definitely covering up what we don't want to see.
I may pass out, actually. This is like immediately
even better.
Bad.
Even better.
Yeah. Oh my God. Seriously. And welcome, Andrew. Welcome back. How are we doing?
Thank you for having me back.
It's a pleasure. This is the first time,
here, fellas.
We've had a repeat guest.
Repeat,
nice.
Yeah.
I feel special. I feel lucky.
Well, you're the lucky one to guide us through these horror films, because I mean, we've said it before. We're not the experts or the enthusiasts on the horror genre, especially slasher genre. So yeah, we welcome you to kind of guide us and give us your thoughts on these films.
I will try my best. I am an enthusiast, that's for sure, but definitely not an expert. I don't think that I am, but we'll see.
Which one popped your cherry, Andrew? Which was the first that you were like, this is my genre?
I remember it was in middle school. I was at a buddy of mine's sleepover, and he somehow got his mom to rent Sleepaway Camp 2 and April Fool's Day. And I was 7th grade. So what is that? I don't know, 12, 13. I remember those scared the shit out of me. Well, April Fool's is actually kind of like a funny horror comedy, but Sleepaway Camp 2 scared the shit out of me. And I remember in the morning, when you wake up, I'm still alive. Everyone's still alive. I was like, oh, that was an interesting, get your like lizard brain going. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that was wild. So I was like, let me see this other, all these other like weird, creepy ass movies. And just, it kind of took off from there. I just started like finding weird stuff. In high school, I worked at Blockbuster, so that helped a lot too. Going to see all the movie, the DVD cases, and seeing all the cool artwork, and just being like, all right, that one, and then just kind of diving into it. And I haven't looked back since.
What are your thoughts on heavy metal, like Cannibal Corpse, for example? You a big fan? Does this go hand in hand?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. Like some of that heavier music does. I like. I don't know if you can see. There's an Every Time I Die thing that you're right here. That's my favorite band. That's a heavier band, but it's not grindcore or death metal like Cannibal Corpse is. But if the song's a banger, I'll let it ride.
First, if you know the genre, that's very specific in a genre that I've never even heard of. You're talking above my pay grade. So well done. Did you know that existed? I don't know. Sounds pretty cool. But anyway, how did we get here? So we got here because last time I think we talked about movies, of course, but movies intends in the focus of scary ones. And I myself, for whatever it's worth, every October basically start just crushing like these type of movies, slashers / whatever you want to call them, horror. And we've gone down the rabbit hole, by the way, on like what is about to come as well. Found some pretty good bangers. Don't want to go into them just yet. But we wanted to bring you on, of course, to go through your love of Halloween. And I also want to talk about not just Halloween 1, but all of the Halloween if we can, because I'm basically just going to pick your brain. But and you decided that we're going to compare to, Halloween is a juggernaut, but we have to, I guess, call them both juggernauts. Friday the 13th was branded very well. I guess you could call it that. I would say they're like, kind of like Converse All-Stars, but we're like just a Payless shoe that was branded really, really well, if that makes sense.
Good comparison, yeah.
Yeah, like you're
Skechers.
Still wearing pretty shitty shoes, but it just looks like it's okay, I think. I don't know, maybe. But anyway,
that's fair.
Friday the 13th, part 2. So how the hell did we start this, Mr. Stephen Rank? Yeah.
This is it's October. It's horror month. And I'll be honest, like I didn't really enjoy horror movies at all until probably, a couple years ago when I saw The Thing, and I was like, oh, horror movies can actually be like interesting and kind of like deep and things like that. And then, yeah, I mean, I'll be completely honest here. For me, Halloween, Friday the 13th, I just watched them for the first time this week.
Oh my
I
god!
I know it's wild. It's kind of silly, to be honest.
On a scale of like, I guess we can get into it, but in comparison to the almost 40 other podcasts we've done, how would you compare the totality of these two movies on a 1 week basis compared to, like, if you had to rank as we do at the end of each show?
Yeah.
What would be the scale? Because I think our average score for you was like 84. Where would this rank? Where would this rank? 60 to 70, 70 to 80, or 80 to 90?
I enjoyed this week a lot more than I thought I would. Like I was kind of going into this with a little bit of dread, but to be honest, I watched Halloween first, and then followed that up with Friday the 13th. But yeah, I enjoyed this week. This is kind of like zombie week for me. Like it's like I can do this in small increments, 2 movies, and then like I need to put it away for a little while.
Yeah, we were, Andrew, you probably haven't seen the zombie podcast. We did our best to like get through 28 Days Later and Train to Busan, and they're great separately, but like, I don't know, back to back is like, this is too much fucking zombies, man. Like, what? I can't handle any more zombies.
Dude, I don't know, man. That's a great doubleheader right there. Oh,
yeah, we got to the end of the podcast. This is why you're here. So I think, why don't we go to Friday the 13th first? I think that might be the best option here, or else it's just gonna devolve. Let's get some backstory. I myself, in terms of the branding, and when I grew up, I was born in 1981. This movie is from 1981, and there was one before this. This was, and I didn't see this until, my God, I don't know, probably something around what you were saying, like the 12, 13, maybe even like into the 14 years old. So it had been out for a very long time, but I clearly knew who Jason Voorhees was. And I think every human being on Earth pretty much did that isn't dead and killed by Jason, more or less. So that's my background. The hockey mask, because nobody played hockey in Florida. If that was seen in Halloween, that was pretty much the scariest thing you could have. Like that and fake knives. Looking back, do they give fake knives to... Do they?
I was literally waiting for this mask to show up the whole movie, and I'm like, am I watching the right movie? Is this what we're supposed to watch? And it didn't fucking show up.
Yeah, they get your ass. They got to bring you back for the third one.
Jeez, dude, Louise, man.
Isn't that so ridiculous? Because I've seen this movie. This might be my third time watching it collectively, and it's been a very long time. It's been 10 years probably, and every time I forget that as well. Like, oh wait, he's in a fucking pillow sack. Like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? And like, it looks so
one
terrible.
Eye hole too is ridiculous.
Yeah, just one eye hole. That's it.
Awful.
Yes, one.
Yeah, they
stupid.
If you read through the trivia, I mean, it's hysterical. Like, sometimes Jason's played by a woman, sometimes it's just like, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's get into it, guys. Runtime. Oh, by the way, Friday the 13th, part 2. It's a runtime of 87 minutes. Steve Miner is the director. 1981, as I said. It's rated R, and it's horror, I guess. It's scary at times. Rotten Tomato score of 33%. 1.25 budget with a 21 at the box office. Numbers weren't really that high, or as high as I was expecting. I thought this would have been something that was a much larger endeavor, but nonetheless, I guess I have to go into these our synopsis, right? The second entry in the long-running horror series focuses on a group of teenage would-be counselors converging at Camp Crystal Lake for training under the tutelage of head counselor Paul John Furry. Great name, just John Furry. Reminds me of one half of Dumb and Dumber of Jeff Daniels. Inevitably, Paul relates the story of Jason Voorhees, a boy who ostensibly drowned at a camp and his mother murdered a group of counselors in revenge. No one takes the tale seriously until a much alive Jason begins gruesomely eliminating people. And I have to say off the bat, the fact that he's still alive is hysterical in terms of the whole totality of the plot, because his mom just kills everyone and he's still alive. What?
It's like, oh, all for nothing, lady.
You get to the end, you're like, what is happening? Where'd you
I
start
did not.
there?
I did not see the first movie, and I was wondering why. Like, why are we going into part two? And like, do I need to watch the second one? And then like the first 10 minutes with like the dreamy flashback of like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I got what happened.
Yeah, you get the gist. Yeah.
And the dreamy flashbacks are the best, right? I mean, there's not often you get movies
The
that
best.
actually have dreamy flash.
I want
dreamy-
every second or third movie to have just these dreamy flashbacks, so I don't even have to like
Watch the first one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spoon feed me the plot of the first one, please. Thank you.
It's kind of like TV shows when you get done with one and then you start another one and they give you the backstory of what happened, like in a 10
Yeah, like the
second-
30-second recap.
Yeah, next on Arrested Development, or they give you the preview. But anyway, how was your feel Friday the 13th? Watching this, Steven.
Yeah, for me jumping into it, I was immediately caught up on what was going on and the stakes involved. And we didn't even get to the title sequence, and we get the first death with I guess the girl from the first movie. And it's with a household item that like kind of dates this movie. Nobody has an ice pick anymore. I don't think. I don't have an ice pick.
I don't. No.
I don't. Yeah, no.
But yeah, ice pick to the dome, and then you get the title sequence. That's pretty okay. You're like, all right, we get it. But the scene that triggered me the most in the movie was fucking Ted and his prank with the tow truck. Just because I've gotten my car towed before, and it's not fucking fun.
Yeah. I've been there with you as well.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, that's not funny. Also, the beginning scene, you're not supposed to laugh, and maybe it's scarier back in like 1981 when scary movies were a little different. I would say, like now it's just like things are just shocking, more or less, at least in my opinion. But how does somebody not know somebody's 4 feet away from them? Like they're like 3 feet away. They're like,
feel that, right?
You don't feel that presence that like is arm length away. Like what is happening? I mean, how is this possible? Anyway, I'm
he probably smells if he's like growing up in the woods,
and they're
you
always
can not
heavy.
smell him.
They're always heavy
good point.
breathers too.
Yeah,
always
okay,
heavy breathers.
So that was a point I was going to make in Halloween. But like, did no one do cardio? Like, if you're checking a box for an application on like serial killers that want to kill with large knives, like check off the box number 1 of like, yep, no cardio and breathes really heavily, like coffee breath.
Yes.
I mean, that would be scary, right? Somebody has really bad
That's why
breath.
they walk everywhere.
Yeah, they're not fast.
Why don't they have garlic though? I mean, why don't they have cardio if they're walking everywhere? They look relatively thin. I don't know anyway. I don't understand. But they were 4 feet from each other, and I have to point out, Jason also is not a very good swimmer. I mean, his aptitude for swimming seemed pretty terrible.
It's bad.
Yeah,
It's really bad.
very bad.
Yeah.
Well, that comes up like later in the movies. Like that's like his weakness is like water. Like if you get near water, he won't come get you, or if you throw him in the water, he freaks out. Pretty sure that was when Freddy versus Jason. That's how like Freddy was fucking with him, was like putting him in water. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
I really enjoyed. I was in the camp of like, you watch the movies, and Jason not watching the movies is always a cooler character, kind of to some extent. But I loved Freddy as a character way better.
Oh,
like,
Freddy he's a way better character.
Best.
Yeah,
Freddy is my favorite character of anything in horror. Sorry to get ahead of ourselves and talk about a movie completely separate, but just that he would fuck with people when he was doing like horrible things.
Because he was smart, like actually smart.
Well, he would get in your dreams. It's a little different. But anyway, Did you know that Jason, his original name was going to be Josh?
Oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I was like, Josh.
No, Josh, don't stab me.
Yeah, I was like I thought that would be the least scary. And I started thinking through this. I probably should have asked you the question, guys, in advance. But I was thinking, like, what would be a hilarious name instead of Jason or Josh? And I was just thinking, like,
I mean,
Frankie,
Dilbert,
Todd, Dilbert.
Todd. I was thinking of Frankie, just having this like crazy Italian guy with heavy breath and no cardio, but make him fat with a big knife. Is like grandmother's knife, that's huge, extra big knife, that Italian. Frankie, like, I think it would work out. It'd be scary. I don't know. Dilbert.
Yeah.
Dilbert. Don't kill him. Anyway, I feel like I should be clear on both movies. There needs to be literally and figuratively some more stabbing in the back. I just felt like there's an opportunity
To just get him in the back. Yeah, not a lot of that, huh?
no.
There's a major missed opportunity. I feel like in Friday the 13th Part 2 that I think the screenwriters just. I mean, for me, I was waiting for it, and it was throughout the movie. You get the scenes where there's a guy in the wheelchair and he's arm wrestling people, right?
Dude,
There
right?
could have been an opportunity where like Jason goes to stab him and he gets him and they're like arm wrestling and then Jason wins. Like that was like, come on. I was waiting for it. Didn't happen.
It's so nice to look at this movie in hindsight because I feel like now adding a person in a wheelchair, it probably wouldn't make it to like filming possibly. And like, they're just like, yeah, of
Or they would
course.
live.
Or they would live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Human wheelchair. Yeah, of course we're doing this. It's exactly what we want to do. Make it this worst thing possible. I actually kind of missed the times that we could have a little more liberties with film.
Yeah, get away with outrageous shit. That's what's good about horror. You can do that in your horror movies because no one really cares, you know?
That's a good point.
You know, you can still probably do that today to some extent because, you know, the genre as a whole is not really taken serious by, you know, critics and the Academy and all that jazz. So you kind of can get away with any of that. Like, you know, you've probably seen it, but those new Terrifier movies, like that. I don't know if you've seen the, well, it's a big new horror trilogy thing, but I mean, they're some of the goriest movies I've ever seen in my life, but people love them. So, you know,
I don't like gory movies, man. I like
Me
more
neither.
the imagination of what's going to happen. I don't want to see it on screen kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. These movies are gory for the sake of being gory and like an over the top kind of fun. Like, hey, look what we can do with the chainsaw. Isn't that funny? Like versus like, you know, like stabbing in somebody's eyeball, and they don't do that. It's just buckets and buckets of blood, and I mean, they're fun, but I guess if that's not your bag, you probably won't like it.
No, not my bag. Nah, I have to say, yeah. Go ahead.
Who names a camp? Was this the actual name of the camp that they went to called Camp Blood? Like that was
the nickname for it. So
got it. Okay.
They're referencing the first movie when all those people died. They nicknamed Crystal Lake Camp Blood.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, then that makes sense because
it's like the Murder Kroger in Atlanta. You know,
Murder Kroger. Got
it. They have different names. I
skipped going to that one.
Oh, it's nice and bougie now. You should come back. There's like a wine bar and like a nice like office buildings and stuff up top.
Do you get murdered in a different way? Like what's the jive?
In a high class way. You die of designer cocaine.
Okay.
I went with my friend recently, and he was like, "You know what they used to call us, but they still call it." And I was like, "No." It's like Murder Kroger. And I was like, I don't feel like I should be here at a Murder Kroger. Like, could we shop somewhere else? Like, you took me to go get eggs at a Murder Kroger? Like,
the
what?
Murder Kroger.
And he's like, no, it's pretty safe, man. So it's all good. And then I Google it, and then like there's like a murder recently. I was like, this is no, man.
Yeah, that shit was so like the second it got like redone, they're like, we don't call it Murder Kroger anymore. Someone got murdered. I was like, it's forever Murder Kroger. Don't try to change it.
Yeah.
Technically, this murder's your fault for trying to change the name.
Yeah. It's not a Murder Kroger, guys. You can't get murdered there.
Really?
Oh, yeah? It's just like getting mowed down. I'll show them their nomenclature. I have to point out that both of these movies, especially the Jason side of things, that it was very easy to get injured in this movie. Like,
your ankles are done for in these movies.
Yeah, like it was kind of, you know, the Batman and Robin, like pow, bam, and it's just like death. And you have to, you know, punch somebody like 748 times in a martial arts film to like even get there a bruise or something, like dripping some blood, which I think there needs to be a little bit in the middle. Somebody was not consulted with like a martial artist or somebody who's ever gotten in a fight. That I found it funny that, you know, people are just getting murked very easily. But I'm attacking this movie immediately. Um, have you ever seen a new cemetery? By the way, I was thinking about that. Strange thought of mine, but like, when has a cemetery ever been like built?
I've never seen like a sign on the road that says "Cemetery Coming," like in development. It's
Yeah.
an interesting thought. They're just always there. It's just always present. I feel like
I went down that rabbit hole. I'm like, wait, what? They're all old cemeteries, but yeah, Cemetery Road. But anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I had a thought. I wasn't high, but I was definitely a few drinks in, and I just thought that with AI now, it'd be so cool to have like maybe this has already been done. Please tell me if it has, because I'm actually super interested. I went a little crazy to add like some Star Wars characters to the Jason environment. Would be very fun, or like, or any horror
Darth
environment.
Maul versus Jason.
Yeah. I mean,
Man, that'd
probably be complete destruction. But like, I just thought of like the melding of these universes. Halloween would be fantastic, but just add them all now that you can have AI, and I just thought that would be super fucking cool.
I mean,
Surely that's somewhere on YouTube.
They did Freddy versus Jason, and there is a fan film of Michael Myers versus Jason as well. I didn't watch it, but yeah, I mean, you'd have when you say AI, what are you talking about? Like just like a story written, or are you actually talking about like a video making kind of AI?
Yeah, like a proper movie with dialogue, and it can just be like digital art now. That I mean, I don't know first of all, I don't know what I'm talking about, because have I ever created AI video? I don't know what people. I don't even know what people are doing to create it. So whatever you people are doing, can somebody go do it more with Luke Skywalker attacking Jason? I just want to see some random shit, man. Come on.
Would the Force work on Jason, or would it just be like no?
Because he's. I don't know.
Ooh, interesting. I mean, you could force push him and shit, but I don't think you can mess with his mind because it's not.
It's not there.
Yeah,
it's no mind.
But I mean, that's kind of how it forced when Anakin did it to those two stormtroopers. He was basically like, "Those two dudes are dumb. Watch this. I can, influence them." So maybe you could. I mean, if the girl can trick him by wearing his dead mom's sweater,
yeah,
surely a Jedi could do a little bit of mind trickery on him.
That was a very good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
That was super brave of the girl to I mean, put on the sweater.
Coin flip. Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's going to work. It's not going to work, but it worked for a little while.
I really, to tell some very good things about this movie. It had really good shots, and I really enjoyed it. And my lack of horror knowledge is monumentally high, so I am completely ignorant of what movie like made this feeling. But that somebody from a first person perspective, like you have the perspective of being the killer, Jason. You're like behind the trees. You can feel that they're behind the trees, and you're just waiting. I really like that perspective, and I don't know if that was a thing that horror did back in the day, but it made it fun and excitable.
I mean, yeah, you had. I mean, like Hitchcock did it with Psycho. There's an older British movie called Peeping Tom that had similar styles.
It's just the voyeurism technique of like putting yourself in the eyes of either the killer or something like that, which we can get into in the next film. But yeah, it's super creepy. And it's funny, like the first horror movie that I saw that I remember was Scream. And obviously that's like taking apart and almost making a satire of these horror movies. But I didn't have this background of like knowing what the cliches were. And then now watching these two movies that kind of like branded what is horror, and now understanding like, oh, they invented these cliches. Like this is why those films are so successful and being parodied so much.
Do you think, how many murders do you think it would take you to get into like messing around? Do you know what I mean? Like start using blood and writing messages to people. You're like, nobody's going to catch me. Like how many, like I think when you hit like 7 or 8, you're probably like
8.
What can I do?
I was going to go maybe like 5. 8.
5? So it's eight
You
for some reason.
get a little comfortable. Yeah, maybe 8's a pretty good one too. I mean, you get a little, but sometimes you start killing too much and you get lazy. And that's how Ted Bundy
that's my
got caught. He
point.
got lazy. And he has like a famous line that says like, they're like, well, how did you get caught? He's like, sometimes a plumber forgets his tools. You're like, what? And he's like,
What?
I was just lazy. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. So there's a fine. You got to get like 8's probably pretty good. When you start messing around, doing all the signs and whatnot.
I was rationally going through this justification in my head. Clearly, I was paying attention to the movie very well, mind you, when I'm having thoughts of, I wonder how many murders it would take you to get creative. Lovely movie and transfixed. And I thought about Jeffrey Dahmer and that when he was killing, he wanted then his next step when he was probably like a few in was, I'm just going to create a wall of skulls, which is like the creepiest fucking thing on earth. Like he was literally,
Super
when he
creepy.
got caught, he was in the midst of creating just a wall of skulls. And then once he completed his wall, his construction, allegedly he was going to stop killing. And then he was just going to hang out with his, I don't know. It's a Netflix documentary. If you ever want to watch it, it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to stop.
Eight was the number. I felt like that.
That's a good.
Like that's when your calling card is going to come out. But anyway. Steven,
what
do
is
you
your
think?
calling card? I just want to know what your calling card would be. Would you have a
look
wall
out
of
for it on the
skulls?
news.
Would you be the type to like cut up like magazine clippings to make messages and notes? Like what do you do?
I think I would make it something that's kind of universally seen in a variety of places. So the fear is like instilled pretty thoroughly throughout society. So like, for example, you could just have like a business card with an X or a business card with a plus or something that you could be seen elsewhere. Like a plus would be a pretty good one where people would just be so fearful. Because I would want, if I was a serial, I've thought about this a little bit, if I would want everyone to get infected with fear. And boy, that would definitely do it, I think. Because like you would just be walking down the street and like, I'm in Europe. I need a pharmacy. Oh, fuck. Josh is here. Maybe. I don't
Josh.
know. Do you know what I mean? Frankie. No, but yeah, that'd probably be my calling card. What about you? You guys?
Oh man, putting me on the spot here, but
yeah,
something creepy. I would do something creepy, like maybe like a plastic toy doll. I would leave at every scene of the crime, just to let people know it's the doll killer.
The doll killer.
I wonder, like, with Amazon now, to find the doll killer, you just be like, has there been a big shipment of dolls to like an address recently? Like, got him. I was only 9 in. Damn it, my wall of skulls.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Fucking assholes. I have to point out though, have you guys, either of you, been to upstate New York?
It's been a long time, but yes, I have. It's been a very long time.
We had a house in upstate New York for a number of years, and the feeling of this movie is exactly upstate New York. It just is, and I don't know where they exactly shot it, but it looks and feels like that. It's basically like death to some extent is all around you, but you can't explain the feeling, and it does have that like mistiness, which seemingly never goes away, and the soil is always slightly damp. Like you could, I don't know. It's just very creepy. There's bears in the woods, but it has this feeling. And another good thing about the movie itself, the movie does have a very good setting in the sense of like putting you into a type of mood, even though it gets broken up in the editing like every 6 seconds. But like the setting itself is creepy, and in real life, upstate New York feels like this. So if you ever want to go get murdered in the woods, feel free to go to upstate New York.
Hell yeah, nice.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are these? I mean, both these films, but why are these films just so horny? Like, just big time horny.
Were you? Oh yeah,
were you not? 70s, man.
Yeah. Debbie Does Dallas. Did you? That's probably a reference you guys. Yeah. You guys were not horny as like going to camp? Never?
No, dude.
What?
Sure.
I'm horny right now.
Talking about horror movies, that'll get you.
Yeah, talk about horror.
I've got a raging hard on.
Bricked up.
Dude, at that time, that's par for the course for every child. Maybe not pastors' kids.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to see a very celibate horror movie. Like,
that actually would be horror.
Boo.
That would. That sounds like you would be like going into like the Midsummer type of idea.
Yeah,
I can see that work. Okay. Isn't 50 Cent celibate?
I don't know him personally, nor do I.
I'll text him real quick.
Yeah.
I only got a dollar number. No, he is. He does it for like over a year. That's terrible. He does it for a year, but nonetheless. The movie itself was hilarious to me. I felt like the mom's head was one of the worst things ever in cinema. Like, it was just so ridiculous.
In the fridge, yeah.
Not much to say about that. They really upgraded, I would say. I don't know when it was. You said Jason 3, he got the hockey mask.
He got the hockey mask in 3, yes.
Yeah, they could have just gone immediately into the hockey mask and then the pillowcase. Just seems like he may have. That's probably why he had the bad cardio. Like, I put this on for 1-2 minutes and was sweating to death and breathing heavily. But overall, I think what Jason, the entire series, does the best, honestly, is the branding of it. And I think that hockey mask and that knife is very quintessential, and that scared me. Like, Halloween was never even up on my radar of scary movies. But, I watched it later. And boy, I'll tell you what, I could probably intro into this, and I'm ruining your movie immediately. I have listened to the music 1,000 times, but watching the movie again, I'm like, what is better than this? Like, honestly.
Banger.
It's outrageous. I want to learn how to play the piano just to play that. To be fair,
he's got a bunch of.
We're talking about Halloween, not
Halloween.
Friday.
Halloween. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
good.
right. That is. Yeah.
Sick.
One last point for Friday the 13th. I was watching the ending and seeing the little Shih Tzu dog come through the door. I was like, oh, come on, it's going to be this sappy fucking ending.
Yeah.
And then I was so relieved when we saw Jason without the pillowcase just jumping through the window. That raised the level of enjoyment for me, because I thought it was going to have this like sappy fucking ending.
Yeah, yeah.
Does the dog die? That website where you can see if the dog dies in the movie.
There's a website like that. I had no idea.
It's like,
does the dog die?
Does the dog die.com? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not
right, should we get into Halloween?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, speaking of dead dogs.
The dog does in fact die. All
Yeah,
right,
boy,
Halloween.
Michael, he don't fuck around.
We're going back in time to 1978. 93-minute runtime on this movie. John Carpenter in his third film with Jamie Lee Curtis. And her first film, this is a slasher horror, budget of $300,000. Box office, I think it's more than this now, but it says 70 mil. I think with the whole franchise, it's well over that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the plot pretty simple. 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night in 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, to kill again. This movie was made on a like I said $300,000 budget. Got made by John Carpenter. The producers saw the film Assault on Precinct 13, and they wanted to create a horror film with the same impact as The Exorcist. And Carpenter agreed to direct, but he said in the stipulations, he's like, I'll do it. It's $10,000, but I want a little bit of the box office profits, and I have complete creative control. That's in writing, directing, and scoring the film.
Well done.
Yeah,
sir.
Dude, that's a great contract.
Yeah,
really good. And let's talk about just this opening scene. Like, again, I'd never seen this movie before. Always put it off. Didn't want to watch it. But I thought that opening scene, it reminded me of Touch of Evil, like just that one long continuous take, and we're just in the eyes of Michael Myers as a kid. We don't know he's a kid yet until like I guess the end of that scene. But yeah, him just like looking through the windows, seeing his sister and her boyfriend kind of fool around, going into the kitchen, grabbing the knife. And it's just this slow burn of like what is going to happen. The boyfriend goes upstairs and leaves pretty quickly. So if we want to talk about a quickie, that's a quickie.
Hey,
super
you saw
quick.
her boobs though. How are you supposed to last that long? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, come on.
And I'm just trying to think like what is driving Michael to do this? Is he a fucked up kid? Does he have this trauma, or is he just mad because he's not getting any attention from his sister who's supposed to babysit him? I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to know. He's supposed to be this incarnation of pure evil.
Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, he's basically like a great white shark. So, not to be lame, but all that sister shit got retconned in the new movies. So it's not. He did kill his sister, but Jamie Lee Curtis, her character is his baby sister. So the whole thing is like he comes back to finish the job to kill her, but they retconned all that, so it's not his sister anymore. It's just he's just like a predator. He's Loomis calls him pure evil, and that's what he's kind of supposed to be. Just this juggernaut of a person. Like throughout the series, he gets more like magical and shit, which kind of sucks. But again, the new trilogy basically retcons it. They're like, nah, he's just a mad guy. Just a big hulking dude that he won't die.
There is a little sprinkle of like, is he like supernatural? Is he because he can't be killed? What's going on here?
Which is rad. I love that because Carpenter kind of did that on purpose. Yes, you're right, because he's like, hey man, it's not a ghost. He's just there to kill.
He's just there. And I like your point that you made that he's like a great white shark. Like this screenplay follows a lot of the same like plot points of Jaws, just within like the opening scene, the setup, the small town, the doctor and the sheriff trying to work together to figure this out, and then that final haunted house scene, just like the final boat scene, like all of that kind of like develops in the same way. And I'm sure that John Carpenter was a fan of Spielberg and Jaws that came out a few years before.
Jamie Lee Curtis looked like all the characters, I should say, looked like
Old.
they were adults immediately, and stayed that way for like 30 years. Like I looked up every one of that girl circle.
She was 19.
I know, and I was like, how? I was like, it wasn't making sense in the years now, and then I was like, there's no way she's like a teenager. It's impossible. And I looked it up. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen someone look like an adult. Maybe The Rock, but outside of The Rock, a woman like. And she kept her age for like an excellent amount of time.
Well, I was thinking about it. Is like I was thinking like, is it because like I still know her as an actress now, and I'm putting but all the girls and teenagers looked like they were like 28, 30.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It was interesting.
It was the hair.
Maybe it was the hair, the 70s hair.
Makes your head look bigger and older.
I will say this: one of the few times that I've actually reached out to Steven while I did this a couple nights back to back, but we'll talk about that later. But I'll text him and be like, "This is the fucking best opening scene ever," or something along those lines. But I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and immediately you get that feel of like, this is something good is going to happen here. It's framed so perfectly, and the timing of it, the editing of it, it's one of the best openers I've seen. The opening 5 minutes was excellent.
That was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. And then we kind of get to understand, like, it's been 15 years. Michael's been in this mental hospital. Dr. Loomis is driving out to he's basically being transported because he's got a court date or something like that. And he's explaining like, I spent 8 years trying to counsel this kid, and the last 7 trying to keep him locked away. Like his eyes are just the devil. I like that line. And then seeing like all the prisoners or the mental patients, I guess, just out in the field, like that spooked the hell out of me.
That's so good. Whew. That's such a great shot too. I love that.
How does Michael know how to drive? Like, what are your thoughts? Where did he pick that up? Is it a stick shift? Is it automatic? What are we talking about here?
Just burning the clutch.
Why is it in horror movies can you get away with pretty much anything?
I mean, that's the catharsis of it all, right? Like you
Yeah, I
you want to see
think
them get
so.
it away. Yeah.
You mean like thematically or like the characters within the movie?
Halloween, I know that has its ups and downs, and you're talking about like things being solved later or changed. But like, how is it possible? Like, you can have a whole genre that you can pretty much just do whatever the fuck you want to, and like the simple rules don't necessarily apply.
I
Is it this like we're
I
taking we're one step into like suspending our disbelief, and therefore once you take that first step, you can take 10 more. It's kind of the
yeah,
logic I have here.
I think that those rules are right. Well, those cliches are part of the horror thing as a whole, right? You're like, I mean, take Jaws. Oh, a big shark. It's like, all right, well, don't go in the water. Movie over. That's an easy fight to win. Never go back to the beach. But they're like, oh, I got to get on a little boat. Let's go hunt this thing. Like, normal people probably wouldn't do that, or you for sure get a bigger boat at least. But because it's horror, because it's a lot of these directors, like I know Carpenter, William Friedkin, the guy that did The Exorcist, there's a ton of interviews where similar questions are asked to them.
Yeah.
They're like, well, blah, 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 these rules in real life, or why did you do that? Or you framed it like the blah, blah. And most of the time they're like, I thought it looked cool. There's no deeper meaning.
Yeah.
It looked cool. It worked. And so we did it. I wasn't thinking 17 movies ahead. I didn't know this was going to be a big genre or a big franchise. Shit looked tight, so I did it. I mean, if you're sitting there picking apart a movie called Halloween, where a child murders his family in the beginning, most of the time these directors are like, it's not for you. I don't know what to tell you. I just wrote some shit.
A lot
People
of
seem
times,
to like it.
A lot of times, us as the viewer will try and project these these things on a movie. Whatever it's the sexual frustration of men or the male gaze or whatever like that. But like, yeah, like you said, John Carpenter, he was like, I wanted to make a haunted house horror film set on Halloween. And I saw Black Christmas. I got inspiration from that. And this is what I made. And you can kind of interpret it however you want. But yeah. That's it.
It's funny that the analogy you have, there's an analogy in fighting like BJJ or MMA or boxing. A lot of boxers, they'll have their videos broken down and by these analysts who are like critiquing the minutia of what they're doing. Like, his left foot was over here by three more inches, and then he went to his right and he was able to actually get a hook in. Like, the guy's like, man, I didn't think of any of that shit. All I thought, punch him in the face. Like, what are you like? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, there was a guy recently. He's Drickus on Drickus. I can't remember his last name, but from Cape Town, and he was getting broken down by an analyst. He's like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're looking at. Like, I just went there and I went to punch him in the face, and then he didn't punch me in the face, so I punched him more in the face. It's like,
right.
Like, that's all I wanted to do. It's
pretty simple. So,
it's instinct and execution. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like
100%.
None of what you just said makes any sense to me. But anyway, to go to the actual movie itself, it reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you guys really remember this, but in Florida, this was a huge thing, the Satanic Panic, where people were up in arms, and especially like in the Christian community. There's a book called Satan Seller, which is all falsified like information, so that this one person created. I read it. It's a piece of shit book. It's like 100
Is that what's the babysitting? Is that one? Or the daycare? Or is that a different one? Okay.
It's I think I mean, it's been a long time, 20 years since I've read it, but it alleges basically of like these people living in woods and killing people effectively. And they're Satanists, more or less. And there's a bunch of other stuff that is involved with it. There's these, basically, be scared of woods. Don't go into the woods, kids. You're going to get murdered. And if you're blonde hair, blue eyes, you're especially going to get got. So I had blonde hair, blue eyes growing up. And my mom latched, and a lot of other moms that were Christians, like, latched onto this book. I was fucking frightened. Like, it was explained to me. I don't, first of all, why are you explaining to like a 7-year-old? Don't go into the woods. They're going to chop off your head, drink your blood, and throw you in a river. I'm like,
wild.
I'm never fucking going in woods.
Wild.
Ever. My God. So I always had, even when I was 10 or 11, I'd be deep into woods. I'd always had this thought in the back of my mind, like was there some reality? But anyway, it was the exact same time period that this came out. That the Satanic Panic was frightening. But my main question to you guys is, do you remember your first Halloween that you kind of got into it? And like, were you ever scared, or was it just like a joyful thing for each of you?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I remember like my like early Halloweens. It was always just like kind of dress up in something fun. I think I told you, Jonathan, one year I was the Cowardly Lion, which is very apropos on Halloween because you got to be scared. And I was Ace Ventura one year. And
Nice.
maybe Dracula was like my scary costume one year, but that was about it. I remember my dad would always play like these like he had these old records that was like scary horror kind of spooky music. But that's the extent that we got into it. Not too much.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm lucky to be fucked up as a kid then. My mom was like, real, like seriously, she'd be like, "You stay out and it's even dusk. They come out like the whole Satanic Panic cult that is gonna cut my head off and drink my blood."
I mean,
and
oh yeah, that would fuck me up too.
I was just like, dude, this. Looking back, it's more of it now, but I was in pretty early. Wasn't trick or treating when it was nighttime for sure. And that the razor blades
kept
and
you safe.
apples.
No, it was always
that. That was always the scariest one. Yeah, like I was like, shit, am I gonna get like poison in my candy or like razor blades?
I never got a fucking apple in my candy bag. What are you talking about?
Nobody did. It was a complete lie. It was all made up. But yeah,
it was all horseshit. Yeah.
Who would did your mom go through your candy bag to just make sure everything was safe, or like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
I remember my mom did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it was a competition between me and my sister who got the most candy.
That was for sure. Did you?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You go to the big expensive houses, you get the full bars. You know what I mean?
Dude, hell yeah! You know which ones to hit to. You know which houses not to go to because they give you little tiny Bibles. You go to the nice houses because they give you the big ones, man. Yeah,
that's what you want. Yeah,
I didn't know.
Right? What a book!
Nobody around me gave out the big king size bars, and then I moved and went to a new school, and then somebody that was a neighbor giving out a king size bar, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is like the greatest day of my life! Like this is properly, you're the best human being of all time."
Hands down.
Yeah.
Another funny thing that I just noticed when watching this movie, set in Haddonfield, Illinois. It's set there. It's not filmed there. And I bring this up because I saw numerous instances of palm trees, mountains in Illinois, and also outdoor school lockers. If you're in Illinois, you're not going to have outdoor school lockers.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a lot of things that kind of mess up with the continuity of where they're actually at. Funny enough, they had to film in the spring and summer, and they shipped in a bunch of like fall looking leaves and a few trash bags, and they would spread them on the ground. And then after that scene was over, they'd rake them up and put them back in the trash bag because they had such a small budget that they had to reuse those leaves.
That's so funny.
Yeah. We should start a reusable leaf company for movies.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. How you guys make your fortune? Recyclable leaves for movies.
It's actually genius.
But yeah, I thought this movie was like, I was definitely more not scared because I'm a grown man, but
be honest.
Yeah. I'm sure. Were the lights on when you watched it?
Every person who starts off in that capacity was a little scared. You definitely were scared. 100%.
Right. I watched it alone, at night. Yeah. But anyways, I go to this tangent because yes, there are generally like frightening moments in this movie. The vibe of this movie, of how he filmed it and edited it and just shot it, frankly, was horrific. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know who's going to live, who's going to presumably die and stuff like that. What I thought was kind of fucked up was like when Jamie Lee Curtis's character, what's her name? Laurie Strode. She was asking for help and the neighbors are looking out the windows and they just turn off the fucking lights.
Yeah. I said, nah, man, no,
that's not cool.
That guy's a dick.
I mean, wouldn't you do the
Yeah.
same?
Would your neighbors do that, Jonathan? Like right now, like you can
Probably.
look across the street.
Yeah. My neighbors are. I could be burying somebody in my backyard, and they'd just be like, "Nope, nothing's happening there." Yeah,
Dude,
I
I
just
do the
swear to
same
you.
thing. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not my business. I don't want to talk to the cops.
Yeah.
I don't want to end on a Netflix documentary. I don't care. I don't care what he's doing. I saw nothing.
I don't want to be on a Netflix documentary. That's so true.
Dude, it's too much. I got too much going on. I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, my neighbors don't care. I mean, we have chickens in our backyard that we're not supposed to have technically, but nobody cares.
Criminal. That's how they get you, by the way. If you
Do
are
you
a serial
slaughter your-
killer, that's
Do
the
you
first
slaughter
thing
your
they find.
chickens in the backyard?
Do I slaughter them? No, they're our pets.
Oh, okay,
Pets.
got it.
Yeah, they're our pets. But we do. They started providing eggs as of Sunday, so we've got 4 eggs. Interesting little buggers. I look at them much differently now. They're like these little. They're still dumb creatures, but now they're producing eggs, and now I'm like, oh wow, I love these little things.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
Is it an everyday thing? Like an everyday you get an egg?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's
Not,
cool.
not from all of them, but we have 7 chickens. There's 4 in the basement, actually, right behind me. That I'm growing up, but we've had about 4 eggs a day from 7.
Nice, solid.
Yeah.
Funny enough, a lot of times with like budget constraints, it sometimes works in your favor that the choices that you make in a film have a better impact than if you had like a $20 million budget. And I bring this point up because the mask that they chose for Michael Myers was done purely on budget constraints. And do you know who the face of the mask is supposed to represent, or who it is when they bought it from the costume store?
Can I say it or do we wait?
Go ahead and say it.
It's William Shatner.
Yeah, Captain Kirk. They just stretched it out a little bit and
spray painted it white. Yeah,
and spray painted it white, and it was just the perfect kind of creepy. Like there's like this is it. It was $1.80 at the costume shop, and worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it works so good. I mean, what an incredible find.
Better than a bed sheet or a fucking pillowcase.
Yeah, with one eye hole.
Yeah, they had some thought about that too for Jason. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? We're really gonna think about this. Like, they went through like the whole costume department, just like thinking, like, yeah, this is it, bed sheet, or like whatever the fuck that was. I don't even know what it was, to be honest. Yeah. So I breathed heavily. Yeah, much scarier movie, much better movie overall. Jason just felt, the fact that it's Friday the 13th, which is it's that branding. Jason has really good branding, but nothing to back it up. There's nothing to back it up.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, like I saw Jason, but I will say this: Halloween, which would be really cool, and this is kind of the thought process I had. Halloween doesn't do this. You correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen all of them. I saw the most recent one, but Jason, like, go in space. Jason can fucking go to space, dude.
Sick.
Why can't we have Michael Myers in space? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, with the nitroglycerin, this person's face gets submerged and shatters. That's good branding.
I mean, it's fantastic branding.
Yeah.
Is this a real thing? Wait, Jason goes to space?
Jason X.
It's called Jason X. Yeah.
Okay, now I have to watch these. This is like,
yeah.
It sounds. I just want to see the trajectory of like how they got to that point.
How do you get to space?
There's no through line. They're just like, what if we send him to space? Like someone at some point was like, because the rights, the original director and the original writer, like there's rights battles going back and forth. So Jason Goes to Hell and then like Jason X. The reason why they're not called Friday the 13th is because whoever made them doesn't have the rights to that name.
But you have the character that you can use.
They have the character, yeah. So they're like, fuck it, let's send him to space. So they send him to space. And it's a shitty movie, but it's one of those really good. You're like, the movie's bad, but it was made with love.
I would like Jason to do like time travel and go back to like the Renaissance or something like that. Like, he's so fucking good.
He's walking very slowly up to me, and he has a bit of a mask. I think he's just trying to protect himself. Oh, stab in his stomach. Yeah. Like, may I help you, sir? Oh.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should...
See, this is what I'm saying.
Let's start pitching it.
Send it back in time.
You want to hear some taglines?
Oh, I would love to hear taglines.
All right, I'm going to
Mhm.
say a tagline and see if you can guess which movie it's from. Okay?
Okay.
The body count continues.
Friday the
Jason.
13th Part 3?
But this is only going to be between the two movies we're discussing.
Yeah, Friday.
So Halloween or Friday the 13th?
Not
Oh,
Halloween.
oh.
But we were
Friday.
both
I say
right.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. 2 times the fear, 2 times the carnage, 2 times the terror.
Neither.
That's Halloween, I think.
No, it's
No,
it's
No,
Friday.
it'd be Friday the 13th because it's the second.
These are
But
pretty obvious now. The night he came home.
That's
I don't
Halloween.
know.
Yeah. Trick or treat or die.
These
These are great
Halloween.
taglines.
Or
They're pretty
treat
solid.
or die.
Yeah, that's you get 3 options there.
Treat?
treat,
Treat
please.
every time? Yeah, every time treat.
Yeah.
King size candy bar.
What is
Yeah,
a trick?
please.
Yeah, I don't know.
When you get an
but yeah,
apple.
an apple, a toothbrush. Did you ever get a toothbrush in your
I did.
Halloween
I used to
bag?
get.
I
I
did.
did. Yes.
We
Yeah.
would egg that
Fuck
person's
That's
house.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this is
Yeah, you're taking the safety of your own home in your hands. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
We know you're a dentist. We get it. We go to you,
Yeah.
but you don't need to give it to us again. We just got it last week when our teeth got brushed. Now go fuck yourself and give us some goddamn king size Snickers bars.
I know
On
you
the
can
double.
afford it.
Yeah, right.
oh man.
Actually, that would be the best, right? If you were a dentist giving away sugar so more people would come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the racket you need to run.
So
come
dumb.
on.
100%. Just give everybody
Extra
cavities.
sugar.
Yeah.
Extra sugar
Yeah.
for you, Johnny.
Just pixie sticks. Here's some pixie
Yeah,
sticks
right.
for you.
But this is how killers start. You know, like what was your influence? You know, I actually had a very good upbringing. But that guy down the street, he gave me a fucking toothbrush when I was like trick or
Toothbrush.
treating,
It's
and
bullshit.
the 7th year in a row, I got really angry and I just wanted to kill people. And then
7th year in a row.
I became Jason Voorhees. But yeah, but yeah, horror movies. There's not a whole lot to delve into. I think.
I got to ask the burning question here:
Okay.
Who wins in a fight? Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees? Like who you gonna bet on?
Michael Myers,
Or does it-
is smarter,
Yeah, I think Michael Myers
Is
is
he?
more of a.
dude? Jason,
Yeah. Jason hates. I mean, he's afraid of water, so he's kind of
But
getting
we
near
didn't
water.
know. We didn't know that. But in these 2 films, we didn't know that.
Okay. These 2 films. Who?
well, you saw him trying to swim in that flashback, and he was just drowning.
Yeah,
He's not a
but we don't
very
know
good
that he's
swimmer.
not a very good swimmer. Okay,
I
but
say-
this
Michael Myers is taking this all day, every day.
Yeah, I think so because they leaned hard into part 2 for Jason that he's like mentally disabled, obviously. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I got Michael Myers, who's just a mad asshole.
yeah, I think
there's
Michael Myers would still like even if his head got chopped off, he would still just keep walking.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I think
You know?
I think if Michael Myers was in the Jason environment, I think which would be hilarious. By the way, has there ever been a crossover?
Swap
of this?
them. Yeah, that'd be pretty
Yeah.
funny.
I think Jason would have a better chance.
Yeah, because he knows the lay of the land. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got he's got the land to his advantage.
Yeah, he'd be
more of
better
those
off.
survival skills, right?
Yeah.
But Michael Myers would be like, I've been watching him for a long period of time, and he doesn't like water. Push. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're
so, yeah.
now we're done.
Yeah, just hold his head underwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, this movie for like what they paid the actors. Dr. Loomis was the big actor they paid $20,000.
Presents. Dang.
Yeah, Donald Pleasance. Jamie Lee got $8,000, and Michael Myers, played by Nick Castle, got $25 a day.
Ouch.
Wow.
25.
Wow.
And
Jeez.
like he was asking because he was friends with the director in
Yeah, he's
college,
buddies
I think
with
at
Carpenter.
USC.
Yeah.
He was like asking like, what kind of direction do you want me to do with this when I'm walking? He's like, just walk.
Yeah.
Just
that's
walk.
right. Yeah. Car's just like, just walk. There's nothing. Just walk.
And the
'Cause
only
he's a serious actor. Yeah.
and the only direction that he gave him and the whole film was when he got the guy, strung up right there, and he stabbed him. You just tilt your head a little bit, and that tilt was
so
brilliant.
good.
He said, "I want
So
you to
good.
look like you're looking at butterflies."
I did hear about the
That's
butterfly
creepy
part.
as shit. That was the note.
Yeah, that's the note.
I heard about the butterflies, but I don't know what's happening behind me. But before that, the Just Walk, that might be one of my favorite parts of this whole podcast. Not this, but generally, like the 40. Yeah, just looking for some direction here. Like what are your thinks on it? Like, and then brings out some various walkers. Like, oh, what about your thoughts on the walk that he did in this movie? You're like, nope, nothing, bullshit. Just walk. I'm like,
Just
what?
walk, man.
What am I
Just
supposed to
go,
do?
man.
Like, what? Fast, slow? Just what do you mean? That's excellent. Love it.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got with Halloween. I'm excited to watch H2O that came out 20 years afterwards. The newest Halloween, I think, came out a little while ago with Jamie Lee Curtis. What are your thoughts on those, Andrew?
I really like the new trilogy. The 2018, like, not remake, reboot, I guess. That was done very well, I think. Because like Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, I think they did a fantastic job. I liked Halloween Kills. I thought that was a good one too, because it's a good extension of like they bring the town into it more so as its own character, because they all think Michael Myers is dead. So now they have to turn their grief towards Jamie Lee Curtis's character, because they're like, well, if it wasn't for you, he wouldn't have come back. So now, like, I think they did a really good job. The third one, Halloween Ends, I thought was fine. A lot of people shit all over it. They don't like it at all, but it's like, I mean, where else are you really going to go? I mean,
Yeah.
The producers still own the rights to the characters, so there's, only so much you can do. Like, they can't ever really kill him. So there's only so much. There's only so far the story can go. But honestly, I like the Rob Zombie ones are not bad too. People fucking hate those movies, but I thought
heard they hate them. Yeah, you
one
like
and
it?
two. I liked one. His Halloween is very good. That was actually a pretty scary experience in the theater. Two is just like batshit insanity. The movie is wild. It's a Rob Zombie movie, and it's just super existential and esoteric and like all sorts of weird shit. And like it works. I mean, is it better than the original? No. Is it better than the new trilogy? No. Is it better than fucking Halloween Resurrection? Yes. Is it better than Halloween like 4, 5, and 6? Yes. But there's diehard fans of the original franchise that just think it sucks. So I don't know.
There's so many.
There's a shitload, but I'm a pretty forgiving movie guy, anyways. Like, I chose to go see this as some sort of break from reality. I'm watching a movie. If it sucks, I'm like, yeah, all right, that sucks. But like, to just like vehemently hate something like that, it's like, I didn't make a movie. Somebody did.
Yeah.
Like, somebody went out and made something. So who am I to take a shit all over it? Like, yeah, it's not good, but like they did it and I didn't. So, take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm a pretty forgiving movie dude. So I like the new trilogy.
Next up, though, I have to ask the question, because my Halloween experience, I did watch the 2018 Halloween. I enjoyed it. I have seen, of course, the first. What is next for you? I've seen your is that Letterbox where you did the top 9 or whatever the top was for Halloween, or is that all the movies?
Oh, yeah, all my
You ranked them?
Halloweenses.
What would you recommend to the two of us to watch next? Like,
as a horror movie?
The next best Halloween after the first.
2 isn't bad in the sense that Carpenter did not want to do it at all. They paid him a shitload of money to do it. He got drunk, wrote the script, and was like, "Here you go. I'm not shooting this. There you go." And it's fine. Season of the Witch is very good. So what Carpenter initially wanted to do with the franchise was just make it an anthology. So it's Halloween, he would make a new movie.
Wow.
Michael Myers was never supposed to be a character,
like a new
throughout.
killer,
or just a new like Halloween scary movie. Like not even necessarily like new killers, I guess. And so they tried that with Halloween 3, and of course everyone fucking hated it because they're like, "Where's Michael Myers?" That's the whole point. But it's gone back. People now have like rewatched it, and it's like a cult classic. I think it's pretty good. But I would honestly go Halloween. H2O is not bad. That's not bad. Josh Hartnett and Usher, it's not bad.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 2018, and then the first one, H2O, Resurrections. If you have an hour and a half of your time, you never want to get back, and then the new trilogy, because New trilogy basically retcons all that stuff that happened after Halloween, the original. So it's, if you want to see all the weird druid and witchy shit that they do towards, I mean, they're good background movies if you're
Okay.
doing something. Like, you don't, it's like one of those when like you're a kid and like something on TNT comes on and your dad's watching it as he's kind of coming in and out of the room. It's one of those movies where you're like, that's kind of cool. And you fuck off for 30 minutes to come back. You're like, that's all right. So I don't know. I like the first and the new trilogy are probably the best ones.
Noted. And Resurrection got a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That movie's so stupid.
That is about as bad as any movie I can't even name you another movie that's that low. That's pretty bad.
It's awful. It's buddy, because they had to keep churning them out to retain the rights to Michael Myers and Halloween. So it's like I forget how it works, but every couple years you just have to make something, so you keep the rights. So they're like, fuck it, Busta Rhymes fights Michael Myers with karate.
Wow. Okay,
I
that
guess-
sounds great.
I
That
guess they
sounds
have-
right up my alley.
I guess they have kind of made this transition of like Luke Skywalker in the world of like Jason then to some extent. I mean, it
Yeah, a
seems
little
like
bit.
they've
Yeah,
been-
it's wild.
So it doesn't work out.
No, it does not. Halloween 5, I think, has Paul Rudd in his first acting role. So if you want to give that a
Wow.
go, maybe it's 6. It's one of them.
I bet he looks the same as he does today.
Straight up, he looks younger today. It's insane.
Yeah.
What about some ratings?
Yeah, I can get into some ratings.
What do we got? I'll go first. Frankly, I don't know what to say. I already have my numbers here. I almost immediately want to change them, but I'll keep them the same. I think branding wise, Friday the 13th and the machine behind them, the human beings making these movies, they've done really well for a movie that is pretty much trash, I would say. The first 2 are terrible. I saw the first 3 back to back once, and I couldn't make it to the third. So I gave it a 67.3 overall. It's a hard watch. I was laughing more than anything probably, but I did like the scenes of, the first person killer.
You're way more generous than me on the Friday the 13th. We weight these different categories and give the score, and I mean the performance, the acting in this was pretty dismal.
Yeah.
The writing was pretty dismal, but like I gotta say, like I would love to see this like be transported back to 1981 with like a theater full of like teenagers and like watching this. I think it would be like a perfect like fun date movie at that time. Is it a good movie to watch as almost a 40-year-old at night on a Tuesday? I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, I gave this a 52.3.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And Halloween.
But I'll go into Halloween. Halloween, this is a seminal horror classic.
Yeah.
Obviously for many reasons. I think if you ask like people like what's your top, what's your Mount Rushmore of horror films, most people would put Halloween on that Mount Rushmore. So yeah, I gave this a solid 86.7.
I am almost identical with that. The score I gave a 99. The audio, and it's just like,
this is amazing.
What is better than this? And largely consistent scores, but 86.45 to be precise. But yeah, we're pretty much seeing eye to eye on that. I mean, to be honest, Friday the 13th, I could have given it a 30, and I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. And I could have given it a 60, and be like, yeah, that also makes sense. Be like, it just sucks. Like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, it's one of the worst movies we've seen on this whole podcast. So just leave it there.
Damn.
But at the same time, it's like when you.
But the branding's good.
The branding's good, and like when you go,
So
like
good.
when you're drunk and you go to a Shake Shack in the middle of the night or whatever like that, and you have a big juicy greasy cheeseburger, it satisfies some kind of need that you need. Now, is it going to sit with you well at the the rest of the day or whatever? Probably not. But like in that moment, you kind of enjoyed it.
I would agree. But try watching 3 in a row, and then you're like, I've had too many burgers. This is and then you're like, I don't want to see a movie for like a year. Like this is that bad, But Halloween, it's nice. It's nice meaty steak.
Yeah.
You want to eat some more steak?
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are onto something with it's the vibes, right? Like I can't watch Friday the 13th unless it's during like October. Like I
Yeah.
can't put it on in like June. 'Cause it's just
No.
it doesn't hold your attention. You're just kind of like, I mean, I liked it a lot better than because I rewatched it last week and I hadn't seen it in
Yeah.
a while. And I was like, oh shit, I kind of like this better than I thought, but
Yeah.
only because I know that they're just basically trying to copy Halloween. So I'm like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
see what they're kind of do here. Like, all right, this is fine. But I think in a theater in 81, that shit probably went hard. I bet people were losing their minds. I bet the atmosphere made that movie.
Yeah, people are
versus the
yelling at the
movie.
screen saying like, "Let's see her boobs," kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
nipples.
yeah.
I remember people were losing their minds with Child's Play when that came out, and like even parents. were
Oh,
like,
that
"We
movie
cannot-"
scared the shit at me when I saw it as a kid.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine that. And people like I went to camp as a kid. If you went to camp
me
and
too.
then you went to go see this, you'd be fucking freaking out. You'd be really, really scared. And I think that it carries over though, from that time period. I think, if people were to go and rewatch it, they'd be like, yeah, this is a pretty shitty movie though. But yeah, a fun one. We did horror comedy, by the way, before this, which was
Yeah, we did a horror comedy that's coming out soon, or it just came out, I guess, the prior week to this being released.
Which
we did.
Which ones? Sorry,
we did. I did Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi flick.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Shaun of the Dead.
Oh fuck, I love Shaun of the Dead so much.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
so good.
I love that.
Yeah,
so good.
Watch
Dale and Tucker versus Evil. That movie is fucking hilarious. That's a great horror comedy.
I've been watching a lot of horror movies recently, or trying to get into it. So
me too.
It's been fun. 'Tis the season.
It's spooky season, man. You gotta get scared. Something that goes on in our lizard brains where you're like, you're scared, but you're not in danger. So I'm sure it's pumping our brains full of some sort of, I don't know, chemicals and whatnot. I don't know. It's just that's why I like it, because I'm like, ooh, I want
to see a scary movie like one of these, like in a full theater. I haven't had that communal experience in a while, and I think that would be fun.
Man, I'm trying to think.
The Ring was pretty good.
I saw The Ring. Holy shit! Yeah, that was a great one in theaters.
Yeah, that one legitimately as a 20 something whatever hell it was. I was.
Damn, that was a scary.
I saw The Descent in theaters.
Yeah, but I saw that in theaters. That was fucking terrifying.
Oh man, whew.
It's weird. I didn't think that movie was that scary to me.
Oh yeah,
it was just
girls going down in a cave.
Yeah, the initial you weren't for like an hour. You're just like this until something finally happens and you get the release. It was. I was like, darkness.
That's fair enough.
What do we got next week, Jonathan?
I have no idea. What do we have next week? I don't even remember.
We're doing spoofs.
Ooh, spoofs.
I don't know. I don't know. We can't do. We'll have to talk about it. We gotta think through.
Yeah, pretty soon though. This podcast will be based out of L.A. and New York City. Look at that.
Whoa!
Put that on a business card. Yeah.
Next week we're doing Bloodsport and Enter the Dragon for best martial arts film. That's what we're doing.
Oh yeah, I gotta wear my gi.
With 2 in studio guests on this couch.
Ooh, nice.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Which who got what movie?
I have Bloodsport.
You got Bloodsport.
You got Enter the Dragon. I got Bloodsport. I mean, I could switch, but
that's totally fine.
So you and Professor have Enter the Dragon, and myself and Andy, the blue belt at my local gym, we are going to take Bloodsport because he is elated.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the Professor. I'll have a little bit more juice behind my kick on that, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. Just ask all types of questions on how many times he's choked me out. So
yeah. Well, cool.
It's a lot.
Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
No, guys, appreciate you, man. This stuff's always super fun. I really appreciate when you guys include me. I love talking movies, and hopefully I didn't
give us another
bore
topic.
You guys.
What's round 3 to bring you back?
Ooh, what's round 3?
What's a genre? What's a theme that you would like to talk about?
What? I mean, I'm a huge World War II nerd, but
okay. We haven't done that yet.
What about Atlanta movies?
I could dig on some Atlanta movies, or have you done westerns?
Haven't done a western yet.
Love to do a western.
I like those too. I'm actually looking at my DVDs right now. Like, what else do I like?
What do I like?
I've been wanting to do the western for a long time.
Yeah,
but it would have to be. I feel like a specific. Like, are we doing
True. That's
Old, classic
spaghetti.
Westerns, spaghetti,
Neo,
modern.
yeah.
Like
That's a good one.
that's the thing.
We'll
Gotta
talk
hash
There's a
this
lot of
out in the
subgenres, huh?
chat.
Yeah. In the chat. Or James Bond movies.
That'd be good.
Spy
Great.
movies, James Bond movies.
Spy
Yeah,
movie, yeah.
All
We got a
right.
lot.
all
We
I
got a
got.
lot to discuss.
Yeah, that's all I got. Sorry. Just throwing out broad topics.
For all of you following us, we should have our website. We're doing a new rebrand logo design that's coming out soon. Excited about that. You can follow us at Scene Weekly.